Balaji and I stood up years ago, Margaret Milken and others can remember, when we decided, when we started STEM Connector, to do something about women. And we said, let's do a program to hit 1 million mentors. We called it Million Women Mentors. And we said it's mentoring, sponsorship, apprenticeships, internships, and online. But we set a goal in 5 years to get 1 million. We ended up getting 2.5 million, but we had no idea when we set that goal. And Balaji, you were there, you headed up an innovation task force with us. You've been by our side and now on the board, as is Kip Wright, but the men that are with us on our board, but you've been a conscience. And I think if you read about the spirit of TCS, you know it's the only company in the world that gives 65% of their profits back to community and philanthropy. So with that,
thank you, Edie. She's, with Edie, you never know what you're going to be introduced as. It's been a remarkable journey over the years, and I don't think there's anybody in this room who would say, if you're here, it's not because of Edie, it is because of Edie. Kudos to her. It's amazing to see WBC and this movement really gather steam and become mainstream, and definitely the panels and the councils and the work that all of you are doing is what is making it happen. I'm not here to preach to the choir. I'm just here to offer some thoughts from experience that we're having over the years. So TCS, as many of you, when Christian said, they are the biggest company you've not heard of, I think, okay, maybe how many of you have heard of TCS? Okay, I'll take that. So we are a company with $27 billion revenue, 600,000 employees, 153 nationalities, one of the largest employers of women in the world with 230,000 technology professionals around the world. I want to quickly share with you a pandemic story and then share with you why companies of purpose matter. So during the pandemic, obviously the whole world was in turmoil, and most of the organizations were looking at how to stay relevant and resilient. And our journey was very similar, being a company that supports about 2,000 of the world's largest organizations around the world. We had to step up and deliver and figure out ways in which countries, governments, private sector could keep it together and support essential services, financial services, health, in so many areas. Reflecting back after a 3-year period, our revenues grew by 31% during this time. Our earnings were 25%, and we are at 25.5% profitability. And I share that not to share laurels of TCS, but to tell you that being purposeful by doing good is good for business too. And the story behind that is how a company can make that happen is during the pandemic, when challenges were faced by all around the world, during that 2-year period, we added 168,000 jobs around the world. We did not rescind even one offer that was out there. We onboarded 35,000 people whom we had made offers to prior to the pandemic and made sure they had a home, they had a career, and invested in them. About 75% of the organization has gone through some sort of a role change and promotion in the last 3 years. And most importantly, 141 million hours of learning and competency building that we invested in the last 3 years. So when I talk about what purpose and what being a company of purpose means, to me it is being relevant to the challenges that businesses face, your customers face, and support them. Being relevant to your employees and making sure that you are helping them realize their full potential. And last but not the least, being relevant to the communities where you live and work and making sure that you're part of uplifting that community. And the jobs number, why I'm proud to share is not just because of those jobs that were created, but the impact it has on the larger supply chains in countries around the world where people are struggling to meet ends meet. Small businesses had to suffer during that time. And by creating jobs, what you do is really you are creating small microeconomies that can prosper and grow. Right? So to me, the template of what being a company of purpose means in today's era is what I want to share with you. Of course, there is all this talk about purpose, sustainability, and ESG. Any conference you go to, any meeting you go to, you hear this repeated time and again. To me, the way I make sense of this is purpose is your reason for existence. So that's what, if it is not there, you don't exist as a company. Sustainability is all about a set of principles that make you successful, much like how you do it in marketing or human resources. Human resources marketing is not one part of your organization. It is the driving force within your organization. Culture is not one part of your organization. It's not just a chief culture officer, a chief purpose officer, or a chief sustainability officer who makes this happen. This is the lifeblood of your organization. And ESG is a way to measure how you are doing against that and hold your feet to the fire. Yes, there will be trends, better trends than before, to move away from short-termism and a gap-based reporting to more inclusive reporting that can be standardized and we can really believe it and say that, okay, if somebody is saying this is a company that is doing well in ESG, it actually is, right? But till then, I think the core is that if you are a purpose-driven company, if there is something that you stand for, you will live and succeed in this environment. And I'm going to end with that example that in the 1950s, what do you think was the average lifespan of a company, of a Fortune 500 company? Any guesses? More than 50 years. So a company used to get formed and exist for more than 50 years. You know what is the average lifespan of a Fortune 500 company today? About 25 to 27 years. Are you building companies or are you building institutions that will stand the test of time? I can share with you, our company, our group was formed in 1868, 154 years ago. We started with the purpose that the community is not just another stakeholder, but the very purpose of existence of business. And that is why, even today, 66% of our ownership is with two philanthropic trusts. We invested about $300 million into the community initiatives in the last 2 years. On top of that, it's good to do what is best for the community because it will pay you over and over again in the businesses that you operate and operate. So, last point, what does the future look like? I believe that companies, or the future of the enterprise, is carbon negative and social positive. What do I mean by that? Companies are creating innovations and technologies that can not only reduce your own carbon footprint, not only scope 1 and scope 2 and scope 3, but sitting within our organizations are amazing innovations that can help other companies for whom it is going, or countries for whom it is going to take generations before that kind of know-how, that kind of insight reaches them. So what I mean by carbon negative is not just a 2030 or a 2050 goal. I'm pretty sure everybody in the room has a goal for carbon neutrality. But is that goal inclusive of those countries and those communities for whom those sort of equitable opportunities are never going to be seen for a couple of generations at the very least? That would be an aspiration to be a company of purpose. Carbon negative. Social positive, last thing I will say is that if you look at the SDG reports, we are about the UN global SDGs, we are about halfway to the 2030 goals, right? And if you look at the performance, I was just looking at statistics relevant to this group. Labor force participation among men is 72% after the pandemic, 47% among women. Rate of unemployment recovery is 3 times faster for men as compared to women. There are a few other areas around gender equality and maternal health. I would definitely ask you to look those up. But there are positive trends also. More financial inclusion. In fact, 24% of the world's poorest people in the world, who are women, have access to mobile accounting today as compared to 2014. So there is a lot of positive opportunities in doing business that can help support societal outcomes while creating value for all of your stakeholders. And I'm pretty sure all of the companies here and companies joining these efforts will be the lighthouses for companies of purpose in the future. Thank you very much.